How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
It has the makings of the group of death, does Group B at the Champions Trophy, and it kicks off with a rematch of last year's T20 World Cup semi-final, South Africa versus Afghanistan in Karachi. Welcome to Maruti Suzuki Arena, presents ESPNcricinfo Match Day. Delighted to have the company of Dale Steyn to help set us up for the Group B opener, for South Africa's opener. Dane, welcome back on ESPNcricinfo. Pleasure to have you as always. I'm going to resist the temptation to ask everyone's favorite question to ask of a South African right at the start of a tournament and instead ask you to focus on just how enticing this group looks, because the on-paper heavyweights, you've got England struggling for form, Australia plagued by fitness, and there are enough experts out there who reckon South Africa and Afghanistan are favourites to go through.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I think both groups are extremely tough. Honestly, there's not an easy game for any team to play. This group in particular is going to be one that's going to raise a couple eyebrows as the tournament goes on. Obviously, Australia with a couple injuries, even with those injuries, you still feel they have the self-belief that whenever Australia enter into a tournament where they could win a trophy, they seem to bring their best game. Somehow, guys step up and they perform out of nowhere. England, even though they're in a bit of bad form and they didn't win as much as they had hoped for in India recently, they still got some incredible match winners, from Harry Book to Joe Root, who's just come back into the team, some great fast bowlers, Adil Rashid, good spinner. And then Afghanistan, they can beat anybody on their day. You know, they really are a dark horse team. And in South Africa, trying to push to try and win this tournament again. It's a really interesting group.
Yeah, this is Afghanistan who have shown at the last two men's events, ODI and T20, that they belong right here. As for South Africa, Dale, the story is improving. From the bad habit of semi-finals, there's a better habit of finals. Is this the tournament where it goes on to become that best feeling of going the distance?
I would think that the players have got that belief that they should be able to go over the line now. I mean, they've made a bunch of finals. As a matter of fact, South Africa, as a cricket nation right now, has made a bunch of finals. The women have done really well. The men have made a bunch of semi-finals, a World Cup final last year against India. So I think the self-belief within the team is right there. It's just getting over that hurdle. It's been South Africa's biggest hurdle since they won this tournament in the first edition, is to try and win another one. But certainly have all the players, especially in these conditions. They got quick bowlers that can rush you through the air and take wickets. They got some good, experienced spinners. And then their batters are right up there with the best batters in this tournament. Heinrich Klaasen in the middle, Ryan Rickleton at the top, and led by Temba Bavuma. I really do feel that if they can win a couple games and they can get themselves into a final, hopefully this could be the one for them.
So when you consider this South African squad, they, like most other teams, did have a few injury issues to contend with coming into the tournament. What stands out as the strength, and what to you will be the biggest challenge for this group?
I think the strength straight away is probably the batting. Klaasen, Markram, Rickleton is really hot right now. He had a fantastic SA20. Baboom has been in good form, and especially on these pitches here in Pakistan where they've been a bit flat. South Africa came off the SA20 where the wickets were incredibly difficult. Batters didn't manage to get the big scores that they were hoping for, and I think they've arrived here in Pakistan and they want to fill their boots. So a strength is definitely the batting. I think the key thing for them is just selection. Who are they going to pick in that fast bowlers kind of area, and who they believe is going to be that one quick. Lungi Ngidi, Corbin Bosch, we're kind of sitting there as to who's going to be the guy that can potentially break the game open and win games for South Africa. Marco Janssen's going to be good. Keshav Maharaj is good. Do they play two spinners? It's going to be, their biggest headache is going to be selection.
You mentioned those middle order batters. They have been key to South Africa going the distance at the last few men's events. Automatically, when you look at this first fixture, how South Africa's middle order copes against Afghanistan spinners feels like where the battle could be decided?
Absolutely. I think with the bats, they're probably just above Afghanistan in terms of skill and being able to bat the distance. I think Afghanistan's batters have got incredible skill, but can they do it for a longer period of time? We've seen them in the shorter format in 2020s. They can take the game away from you. But when the game is extended over 50 overs, it's a shortened test match, essentially, with the amount of 2020 cricket that we play these days. Are they going to be able to handle that? Afghanistan spinners, though, are going to be the big threat for South Africa. They have spinners that can essentially double strike in an over and come back and double strike in the next over. And you can find yourself 100 without loss, and you can be 120 for 6 against Afghanistan. That's how good their spinners are. So how South Africa's middle order cope with the spinners is going to be, like you said, the biggest hurdle when it comes to this game tomorrow.
And the battle within the battle, you consider the ace for Afghanistan and Rashid Khan, and South Africa's man for all seasons right now, Heinrich Klaasen. That seems like popcorn grabbing stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be really sit back and enjoy. Heinrich Klaasen he's been hot in one-day cricket. He's been really hot. He hasn't pushed over the line to get that 100, so I feel like he's sitting there too. He's desperate for it, and it's due. It's going to come. It might not come tomorrow. It would be great, but I think he's hoping it comes in a bigger game, in a semi-final or in a final. But there's some big challenges for South Africa tomorrow against that Afghanistan spinning bowling unit, because they are serious quality. And on these pitches where there's not a lot to offer, you need to be great off the deck with the ball spinning it, or you got to be quick and something through the air where you can rush batters. And Afghanistan have got the skill to be able to knock over some of the South African batters.
All right. Thank you so much, Dale Steyn, for setting up this Group B opener for us. Karachi has held one game at the Champions Trophy, which was the tournament opener, when New Zealand proved too strong for Pakistan.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.